Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the series. I guess it's like the Investigator Design series, where Beard and I are designing 5 investigators in a cycle of investigators that wasn't going to start as a cycle, but then, as all things do, they kind of just grow that way. And today we're working on the Rogue Investigator, and we have 2 flavors for this Rogue Investigator that we can take, whether it be an Undertaker style thing, which I know seems flavorfully close to a gravedigger, but they actually are different jobs. Or alternatively, a bartender. I think that's also a fun flavor to go with it as well.
Yeah, bartenders always have fun flavors.
Exactly, right? But notably, I think we don't have like a direct idea for this one. We had some ideas for our Mystic and our Rogue, but I think we kind of both are know where we want this to kind of feel from based on the that Moonwine card we built. I feel like that's something we were talking about maybe potentially pursuing, which is the idea of combining stats together as like a payoff for the investigator. Because this investigator, correct me if I'm wrong, is Mystic and Guardian for the splash colors?
Yes.
Okay.
And so for the Mystic, it's of using will instead. Let me see something real quick.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Guardian stuff too to see what's in their level 0 pool. Because realistically, if we want this thing to have some sort of, like, stat combination synergy, we probably want there to also be some sort of payoff on the Guardian side, right?
Yeah. Can you show me the Moonwine card again?
Yeah, of course. To resolve a test where you added 2 or more skills together, spend 1 supply and exhaust Moonwine, take an immediate action as if it was your turn.
Well, their thing could just be once per round, add 2 of your skills together.
Yeah.
And then just give them a sort of a mediocre stat line.
Yep, for sure. I was thinking like a similar thing myself for that. I'm just trying to even just see, like, if there's any sort of inspiration in these Guardian cards, but not really. Alright, I have a little bit of a strange idea. I'm just gonna look...
That's more than I've got at the moment.
Okay, I have like a little bit of a strange idea.
If we're leaning into the Moonwine as well, I think the bartender's the better choice.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Alright, let me just look at a few more cards in this other... Okay, you know, that I knew that was going to be for the Rogue. Okay, let's look at Mystic now. Mystic also has this. I don't know how rogue this feels. The thing is, this might feel a bit like Patrice. But, like, I'm going to write it on here, because this is just, like, a starting point, right? I'm trying to figure out how to word this. So, basically, because a lot of Guardian and Rogue cards, and even Mystic cards, it's not like Seeker where a lot of the commit icons are like doubles, right? Where it's like two different skills. So I was thinking, like, what if there was some sort of way that those can be used to an effect, right?
Like a benefit from different icons on the same card.
Yeah, so it's like when, like, it's like a skill test scarred a card to skill icons on it. Bonus, like benefit. It's kind of like, it even could be like add one of those skills, add the value, add your base skill value of one of those skills to this test, right? And it could be the same sort of thing. I mean, like, it could be better than this too, but this is kind of like what my first instinct when I was looking at all those different icons, because that was kind of like the thing for it.
I think it's a good line to pursue because it's another way to use cards. It's like better than a commit.
Yeah, it is. It's like committing them, but better. Add your...
Should it be matching the skill test, or could it be just a choice of any two?
I feel like it has to be like not matching the skill test.
No,
Like-
I mean like like if you're taking a book test, one of those has to be a book, and then you add
Yes.
the other one.
That is kind of what I was... No, that is definitely like... So it's like if you're doing like an investigate with your lock picks, you can commit a card that adds a book that has a book icon on it, but then you can add the other icon on it to like add that value to it. So like if you did like a foot one, you would add your foot twice.
Let me see if I can read that. Give me a sec.
It's an interesting concept. The question is like, what is it?
Can I see the wording on Moonwine again, just so I make sure this works with Moonwine?
Yeah, go. Yeah, and I was thinking like potentially same stat. Like it needs to have like a more, like it needs to have like a, like it can't have like a bad stat line, but it can have like a great stat line. Because the idea is we still want them to be functional without having to use their ability, right? Because we don't want them to only take one test a turn. Because I feel like yeah.
Maybe kind of like, you know how Carolyn and Vincent have like skills that add up to 11 rather than 12.
Yeah.
So they could have like a stat line of like 4-2-3-2 or something like that.
Yeah. So it's a little bit more. Yeah, yeah. No, I
Or
think that's
four
a
three
good.
two two because we've already got a lot of combat focus in this set.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that because that's already close to Patrice.
And I guess the question is like how much does this end up just being like a unexpected courage machine? And is that like interesting enough for an investigator?
Good point.
And I guess there's also the question of, like right now I just put on here during a skill test you're performing, discard a card with 2 different skill icons on it. I just assume because rogues are a little bit more selfish, right? Like I feel like if this was not like a guardian, you could use it on anybody, but I feel like this is gonna kind of just be on them for that. And I guess like in theory, I mean, so it's actually interesting, right? Because we have an ability that's very card resource dependent. But the 2 splash classes aren't like great at card draw.
Yeah, maybe we want to figure out something else.
Yeah.
I do like the angle of adding stats together.
Yes, me too. I'm trying to think. Like, I think
Guardian and Mystic are both asset dependent, so maybe you should tie into tests on assets.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, Rogue is too. They have a lot of stuff there too that is good for them for that.
True.
So I'm down for that. All right, I'm gonna just save this, or I'm gonna just put this in our comments, just because we can like have that saved. Because I do think that's like one of those things. Oh man. Okay. So I guess like the idea is like, what benefit do we want from this? Like, because like going back to that last one we had, right? Is this like, is adding a stat when you shouldn't enough of a perk for an investigator ability, right? Like if we look at Delphine, our first one, her perk was extra damage, right? We look at Survivor, his perk was also, if we look at Moose, his was also extra damage. And like free damage in his case. So it's like one of those things where how does like this kind of compare to the philosophy of those, right? Like passing one test, it's essentially giving you a free test if you combine some stuff, right? Like in theory, the value is so high that you're going to get some sort of benefit out of it, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely the tricky one. I mean, like I said, this is the one we didn't really have like a starting idea for.
Well, are we looking for big skill value, or are we looking for damage and clues for tempo?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? I guess like that's the thing, right? Like, are we looking for just tempo, or are we looking for like a tempo ability, or are we looking at like a value ability, right? Because like Trish, for example, is a rogue with a really good tempo ability, and Winifred is a rogue with a very good value ability, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think what's most useful for the class combo, because Rogue already has a lot of skill boosting stuff, but not necessarily a lot of bonus clues and bonus damage.
Yeah. All right, let me look at some Guardian cards again. Let me get these on the screen too for the people at home. So I'm looking at the Guardian cards, and I don't know why, but I feel like these cards, Bolus, Counterpunch, Delay the Inevitable, these cards work with like stuff like Cheap Shot, right? Like that's the same kind of, like I'm looking at that kind of thing, like where these icons merge. Emergency Aid works with lockpicks or breaking and entering. Dodge works with like suggestion, right? Some of them don't fit, but I'm just trying to like find like
think of like maybe some kind of like replacement effect, like when you would add a skill to your base value or use a skill instead of another skill, you get a different effect instead. Though that wouldn't combo with
Moonwine.
Yeah.
But Moonwine also just kind of combos with the rogue card pool, right? Like that's kind of like that's what this investigator could take advantage of, because like they have the rogue cards and they could also play like the mystic cards that kind of like. So it does, like, we don't need to necessarily have it be like a full thing. I would like to have some sort of thing. But I think like, so let's turn this investigator sideways for a bit and let's ask a question. Why would a Guardian want to combine stats, right? Like, because we know why Mystics and Rogues would want to combine stats, but why would a Guardian want to combine stats?
Good question. There's not really a lot of incentive for big boosts in Guardian other than like shotgun, and this guy won't get shotgun.
So that's kind of like why I'm like, I know like Mystic, as you were saying, Mystic and Guardian are asset focused, and I think that's really very true. But like, what if this guy is like he's a bartender? Is he like a bit more support even for a rogue? Is rogue support even a thing?
Somewhat. There are some rogue support cards, even if they are far and few between.
Yeah.
All right, this is a completely different tack, but
all right.
What if the bartender is about either letting people use assets in his play area or using assets in other people's play areas?
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I think that flavor is really interesting for the bartender. I don't know how much it works for rogues. But I'm very intrigued by it, because I feel like that's like definitely like a good Guardian investigator, you know? Is there a way we can make it more rogue? I mean, we can't handle this one on an investigator, right? That would just break the game wide open, right? If it's like all right, hear me out. We're gonna work with this, all right? Let's just work with this idea. It's always fun to try stuff out. So it's like, after you activate control an asset at your location. An asset with like yeah, an asset could like kind of like a you handle this one, where it's just like you swap it around, like the you owe me one. For people who don't know, I'll get that on screen as well.
Just shuffling assets around.
Yeah, I'm worried that like might be like way too good. But it's like this kind of thing, right?
I mean, teamwork exists.
Teamwork does exist.
Don't use it.
Well, no, I think like the problem with teamwork, and I think more people would use it, is just you don't have to draw it, right? That's kind of like my concern. Like having this just on a card might be like too good. I love the flavor of it though. I think that's like a very funny idea.
Yeah, Purple Manfly is saying make him pay for it. Maybe the person you're swapping with has to pay you a resource.
Yeah. That would make it like just that's the nice rogue thing, right? Like slap a little, they pay for it on it. I like this, but I don't know if this is the way. But I like this idea for like a... I mean, like I said, I think it seems very powerful. Every time we've built around teamwork, we've broken the game. It kind of like... It destroys the idea of classes. So it's like one of those things where I think it's always like... Probably better if it's a limited effect.
Like, I know this would really... Yeah. Because, like, once you get up into really expensive cards, then swapping them around gets broken. Because, like...
Yeah. All right. Okay. Hey, Time Roller, how's it going? Oh, okay. I mean, I like this though because this one's a very different process than the last two in this series, and I think that's it's more exciting to have ones where it's not so straightforward, and we don't really have like a starting point for it. It's a more interesting design process for that. Oh, sorry, one second. I'm also just gonna quickly, rather than just delete this, I'm gonna just put this also in here, so we don't lose any of it. It's the Guardian thing that I think is tough, but I don't think there's only really two classes that add stuff together, right? I can't think of a third that doesn't frequently enough for it to really matter.
Here's another way you could possibly limit it. It's like... If there's just one use on it left, whether it's an ammo, a charge, or a supply or something.
That could be a way.
That might... I don't know. That might not be very elegant.
I guess another thing we need to ask ourselves for this investigator is like, because we've already made two fighting investigators, we probably don't want another one, right?
Well, if this one is flex, and then we can make...
Two cloovers? Or like a... Yeah.
Because I know the Guardian we have in store has secret subclass.
Yes, yeah. Okay, I mean, if it's a flex, then like the idea of that original idea we had about doing the skill combining is probably like the way to go about it then, right? If it's going to be the flex.
Yeah. Do you want them to be cycling assets?
Okay. An asset
I can almost
one.
think of like discard an asset you control, you get a bonus equal to like that card's cost to an icon printed on that card.
Okay, so it's kind of like a reverse Dexter in a way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Kind of
so
like how you know like Act of Desperation gives you a boost. So it's letting you focus on a lot of assets with limited uses because you can still get a use for getting them out of play.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I guess this is a free. So something like this, skill icon matching. I'll have to fix the language on this, but something like this. Yeah. Oh, I guess here, one second. Let me actually get the right window for you guys. something kind of like this kind of line, right? Like the act of desperation for this.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Though that isn't technically adding a skill.
No.
So it could just be discard an asset you control, add the skill matching an icon on that card.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, once again, I like this because it has so much Mystic Rogue synergy, like right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
Guardian is interesting because, like, I mean, even the idea of emptying a gun and then like act of desperation, desperationing that gun, right?
Yeah, just a little extra use out of it that other people won't get.
Yeah. I'm also curious, like, how looking at the rogue stuff, like if it's enough of a value to also do it. Okay, what if we do kind of merge this, right? What if we do kind of merge this? Where it's discard a skill you can discard an asset you control. So it's like during a skill test. So I'm trying to think of like the same sort of thing where it's like add your base. It's like the first text that we had. Where it's like add your base skill value of one of the skill icons on that asset to this test.
I think you can do that limit once per test because you have to discard an asset every time.
Yes, and I mean, what I'm also thinking is I feel like this needs to have some value where it's like, after this test resolves, like, draw a card. I think it does need something to, like, get there. I mean, I think what's also good is just, like, also even just, like, gain one resource, right? I think it needs something on there additionally to this because, like, you're going to lose so much tempo overall, potentially. Maybe, like, a card is too much, but, like, a gain a resource is probably okay.
Maybe, honestly, maybe just, I don't know, playing a card would kind of get into the Dexter territory, so I think
Yes.
gaining one resource would be enough just to help cycle new assets.
Yeah. It could even be something like this if we want to just like make it kind of like not just look like we tacked on gain a resource. If that skill icon, if you combine two different skills, okay? It could be something like that, right?
Let's see. If you combine two different skills, do it again one resource.
I'm not opposed to it just saying like gain one resource.
I'm trying to think of a way we could like Monterey Jack this, where there's a base benefit and then an extra benefit.
I was literally thinking the exact same thing, and I had it here. 1 second. Let me just copy this and put this over here, because let me kind of just let me just put what I was thinking in my head, because I was actually thinking the exact same thing. Asset you control to your hand. May discard so like something like I was thinking like this, because I do think that there's a bounce already that exists in the, it normally is experience, right? I don't know how, this is probably going to be a bit too good, but like this is kind of like the line I was thinking, right?
Oh, so you could also get some refill benefit from it.
Yeah. The only thing is like a lot of those effects are like experienced to get the bounce. So like we could limit it to limit once per round, right?
That could work. Let's see.
Turn skill, so turn an asset control your hand. You get +1 skill value for this test. You may discard that asset to add your base skill value of one of the skill icons on an asset to this test instead. I feel like that needs to get cleaned up a bit, but
It does, but we're not even settled on it yet.
yeah.
What if we go back to the original, is discard it, but then if you succeed by a certain amount, you can bounce it back?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Here, just copy this and put this in here. Let me grab our other one in there. If you succeed by the cost of that card, return it to your hand.
That sounds like a pretty reasonable.
Virus and threat protection. Let's go. I think that, yeah, I think that's a pretty good way, because like the cheaper stuff is going to be easier to bring back, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's some value there. I mean, this is also probably now realistically with that limit once per round.
Yeah.
I think like with that effect, it's probably good. I feel like also, let me just, is it Elder Sign effect? Is that what it says?
Yeah, Eld effect.
Yeah, +1. Play an asset, paying its cost. If you do, draw a card. Just the opposite of Dexter. Like the reverse of Dexter.
It just makes me think of Dexter at the bar, just slugging them down.
Yeah, it does. It is like one of those things where it's like the reverse. It's like they're like best friends. It's like, wait a minute, it's you, it's me.
Hit me, bartender.
Turn to skill test this card an asset you control. Add your base skill value of one of the skill icons of an asset to this test. If you succeed by the cost of that card, return it to your hand. I mean, I think that is like that's an interesting like form of like design there, and I think there is the synergy with the Guardian class too, right? Because like you can like return a lot of things in the Guardian class. Like if we just like look through at level 0. Give me Guardians only, please.
And you can actually invest in stuff like the high-level rogue stuff with limited ammo, because there's a good chance you'll see it again.
Yep. And like, yeah, like even like cleaning kit, right? Like you can grab cleaning kit
Yeah.
But that one you have to do book. But I mean, like, it's still like that's like kind of like prompting like the flex thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, with the Remington. Let's go. After it leaves play. I mean, that seems kind of sick. And you got to add your foot value to that one? Okay.
You had some unintentional synergy already.
I mean, even like Book of War, right? Like that, there's a lot of stuff that like will tax that tactics that could potentially get there as well.
Book of War is nutty. That's kind of like a whole archetype they just made with that.
Yeah, it's very nice. Shows there's still a lot that can like just like and like it's such a simple design. Like there's still a lot that can happen here in Arkham, which is what makes it so exciting. And how we're able to keep like and like you especially like able to keep designing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that this actually is cooking. I think this is actually a very interesting idea for an investigator. What are the skill icons in that asset to this test? And I guess we should go, instead of asset, we should be like, of that asset. Just like follow that through line. Okay. So do you think this is still a stat line that needs to be Carolyn Ferned or Vincent? Or I think it's probably still enough if we just make it a regular stat line. Because it's limit once per round.
Yeah, with the limit once per round, I think it can have just the regular 12-point stat line.
All right. Well, he's a rogue, so he's probably going to have at least 4 foot.
Do we give him the skid stat line of 2, 3, 3, 4?
2, 3, 3, 4. It's so. I mean, like it is. It's. Yeah, I don't want to give him the Finn stat line. I mean, I think it's probably better because, like, then anything with a willpower icon is an unexpected courage. Anything with a book or a fist icon is a +3. And then anything with a foot is, like, +4, right?
But then Mystic subclass with 2 will isn't ideal either.
Yep, that's fair.
There's the Safina stat line of 4, 2, 2, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know, the dreaded all threes.
So it's kind of one of those things where we have, I don't want to do the Leo's a guardian on the tin. It's only the tin that matters. We don't care about the backside of the character. It's only the front that determines their stat line. The other thing is, like, if we make his willpower, what if he's like that? Because I think the issue is if we make his fist too low, that's going to kind of eat into the guardian side. If we make his brain too low, that's going to eat into the mystic side, right? Like, I think his brain and his fist should be the same.
Then does he need the 4 foot?
I like it, but it could be, like, we could get funky. We could go like that. That looks weird. This causes a great anxiety to rise in my stomach when I see this stat line for a rogue.
It's the gym stat line.
Yeah. No, that's unfortunately not a rogue stat line, I don't think.
Oh boy. He just cares about every stat. What do we do?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. We could give it like him all 3s, but I think all 3s have proven to be not great. So I'd rather have like 1, 2, and 1, 4 for me personally. You know, 4, 2, 4, 2. No, I can't do that either. Because then we've because then if he has 4 in his fist, we've essentially made him no longer a flex, right? I think the idea, I mean, I guess you could have the same sort of thing saying about his book being 2.
Yeah.
A Joe Diamond. A 2/4/4/2, but the thing is, his brain, because he's a mystic, that's what we're trying not to like leave this out of this. 4/1/1/4, that's fucked up. I can't make another all 3 rogue.
All right. Which is the least important stat? Let's start with that. If we want him to be flexing.
Like, are we talking about in addition to his card pool? Because I can't shake that, right? I mean, okay, what are the rogues with only like with 3 or less foot? Jenny, Preston. Is that it? Tony? So someone they could have 2 foot. Yeah, he has 3 foot. I think like of a rogue having less than 3 foot is like you're making a statement, you know?
Let's see here. I'm just gonna go through. Alessandra has 4. Finn has 4. Jenny has 3. Kamani has 5. McGlenn has 3. Monray has 5.
Yeah,
has 1. Safina has 4. Skids has 4. Tony has 2.
Tony has 2.
Trish has 4. And then we're kind of making a statement with Tony being fight. Yeah, like you've never fought before.
Yeah.
You know, when he has 5. Yeah, it's just Tony and Preston with less than 3.
Tony has 2. I mean, if Michael McGunn has, because he has 1 book, right? Though Michael McGlenn has 1 book.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has like a super focused stat line too. Because he's like, what, a 3/1/5/3? That's a really good stat line.
Yeah, McGlenn's going to be a monster.
Yeah.
Honestly, like something like nutty like 3/4/4/1 might be too far.
Yes. Yeah, something like this. Ah! That's freaked
How
up.
did we get here?
Because I feel like no matter what, you want to at least get an unexpected courage from your ability no matter what, right?
So we want nothing lower than a 2.
Yeah.
It might have to be the gym stat line then, 4/3/3/2.
It just feels so strange. But I mean, like, it makes it so that you actually will try to do the willpower stuff of his thing, right? Like, you actually might try the mystic things.
I mean, I guess that makes sense flavor-wise. He's a bartender. He's standing behind the bar. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And he's the shoulder to cry on for half the city.
Yep. Oh, God. Chat, does this also bring you anxiety, or am I just going crazy?
And he can actually use all those baffling rogue cards that say Parley Test Will.
Oh, he actually could. No, that is true. He actually could. Like, he actually would try to... What is the icon on blackmail file? Asking for a friend, and that friend is me.
That is Will.
That is a will on the card?
I'm pretty sure, because that's why nobody wanted to use blackmail file.
Yeah, and it has the
rogue.
skill icon of that. You know?
You tell him your secrets, and he's writing a file in the back.
I mean, like, in theory, too, you could, like, use that and then, like, also just use your brain to boost for foot tests as well. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna look at the parlay. Let me just look at these cards, too. It does kind of seem like with this, we've made a parlay investigator without being a parlay. This is Strange Eons for the program that to make the cards with.
And if anyone's going to be parlaying a lot, it's a bartender, I guess. His whole job is just talking to people.
You know what? I'm down for this. I feel like it is something that does make sense, and I think it resonates most with what we want out of the design of the investigator. I think he presents a different challenge compared to what we have normally seen for a rogues. So I think he's at least in this state worth testing, right? I think that this is pretty all right. I think the ability is very compelling. And I mean, like, we haven't even got to his freaking signatures, and we're only 46, we're 46 minutes into this, so.
Did we have a picture ready to use for the bartender?
I don't know. I think you're right, though. None of those really, like, jumped out too much, but I'll give them another check right now. I'm just going to grab this, get the deck size in the back built.
Keep looking, because I wasn't really super drawn to any of them. The problem is just with a lot of art there of bartenders, it's all like, this is a fantasy tavern, clearly.
Yep. Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like it's just like one of those things where you have to like find an art of someone and like maybe they're holding a drink and it's like, oh yeah, this is a bartender and he's just giving the drink to somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. During a skill test, discard an asset you control. Add your base skill value of one of the skill icons on that asset of this test. If you see by the cost of that asset, return it to your hand. So I'm going to say this guy does, like, the ability is very rogue while also having the benefit of the Mystic synergy and, like, the Quiet Guardian synergy there, too. So I think on the tin, this guy is definitely a rogue. Yes, I'm still stuck on that stat line a bit, but that's okay. What should his traits be?
Criminal because it's prohibition, but maybe also entrepreneur.
Oh, hell yeah. Is that how you spell that shit? I did it.
Entrepreneur. Yeah, you got it right.
Let's go.
There's also so many pictures I'm finding online. They're like, this is amazing style and everything, but why is the bartender a dog person?
You know, that's a great question. That's a great question. All right. So while you're also looking, I'm going to start poking at the signatures. I feel like a signature should probably be an asset.
I'm just sharing for the hell of it, but like.
yeah, no, that style is really great, but I think you're right. A dog would probably not really work.
We're not defaulting to Barkham.
Yeah. Okay. So another thing that I kind of like with this character is that he drinks any of the rogue alcohol really well.
Yeah, they do all have the will.
Yeah, will thing with them. Like, he's not going to need to drink the Tennessee as much, but like he could. Okay, so for his signature, I'm actually trying to think of something like pretty basic. I'm just like something like text. Favorite booze.
I did have one funny thought for the weakness.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Just one of the regular barflies who just won't leave you alone.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Do you think it should be an asset, like a... Okay, let me, I'm gonna try this asset version first, just to see, because I have an idea. Okay. Yes, perfect. Okay.
I don't know, maybe when, like, one of your cards would leave play or would go back to your hand instead of get stuck under him.
Oh, I like that. Card leaves...
But would enter your discard pile because we don't want to do that for RFG and any exile cards.
Oh, I was going to say leaves play via your, like, free ability. Like, so it's, like, limited to just that, you know? But it could just be generally, too. I'm down for that as well.
I'm just trying to think if it's enough of a penalty for it only targeting the ability.
Yeah.
Because if it is, I can see him being, all right, I'll just use luck picks then.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Okay. I want a card. So my thought process that I had for this guy was that he has an annoying effect when he's in play, and then if you discard him with your ability, it's like a negative effect. And that's like the only way to get rid of him is to actually like utilize your ability.
So kind of like Dexter's occult scraps.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's the same kind of like space for that. So it's like when see, actually, let me look at occult scraps. That's a good place to look at the wording for that. I was about to write occult scraps. By produces
Here's a few more options.
let me look at that art. Okay. Yeah, creating custom content is very fun. Oh, okay. I think we'd use that last one.
Yeah, that was the one that looked most promising to me.
Yeah. I'll put it in and we can see how it looks. I still need to send you that other one too.
Yeah, I can fix that up.
Okay, let's put it in and see what we think. It's very dark.
Yeah, that's the only downside to that one.
Yeah. I mean, we could potentially brighten it a bit, but I also don't like editing someone else's art that much, you know?
Well, I think if I fade the background around him, it'll pop out a little more.
Yeah, definitely. But we can keep looking too. I can do some browsing. It is tough though, because it's right, like it's all like a tavern or it's like super modern, you know?
Or like cyberpunk or something.
Yeah. Do you know the artist name on that one?
It was a Pen-Gwyn.
Gwyn. Oh, like penguin, like that.
No, you had it right the first time.
Oh, okay.
I think
Like
it's just a pun on penguin.
like the Lord of Cinder, or like the Lord of Fire who lit the okay in Dark Souls. I get it. Perfect.
Yep.
All right, what should we name this guy too? Also, I do like that we kind of just we agreed on the 7-7 without it. It just feels right.
Yeah, no complaints.
Yeah, he's a flex. Yeah.
Looking up some names here.
guess this guy doesn't actually do anything, huh? This annoying barfly doesn't actually do anything as printed. Alright, let's scratch this. Let's get rid of the icon too.
Maybe it's no, maybe we can go back to having that, and what he does in play is just each asset you control loses all of its icons.
Oh yeah.
So you can never use it to, or I guess each other asset, and then you have a negative icon.
So it's basically like a, sorry, not a willpower. It's basically like Amanda's ability. It's just like turning them off for one turn.
Yeah, until you can get rid of him.
Yeah.
Or maybe if it's like if you don't succeed, then he stays in play.
Yeah.
But something also has to put him into play immediately.
Yeah. You know what? That might be a little bit. I do like it. It might be a lot of text for all I have on here, but I do like the. I'm gonna just copy this, put it in the comments as we always do. All right. Yeah. So put.
What's that for a name?
Sid Roach. I don't know why. That sounds very familiar. I'm gonna put it in though. I'm down for
I
it.
googled it and nothing really came up, so I think we're safe.
Yeah, no, I think it's just like I'm mixing like in my head it's like Sid Vicious and like Papa Roach. They're just coming together. But no, I like it. Sid Roach. I don't know why he's good at parlaying, but he is very good at it because that's a name that makes me go like, I don't want to hang out with you. But then he's like, you kind of want to hang out with me, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he works at Hibbs Roadhouse or something.
All skill icons.
Could also change his name if it sounds too untrustworthy.
Yeah. I like Roach as the last name. I was like, in my mind, I was like Marty, like Martin, you know? But but I kind of like what I kind of like a 2-syllable first name, you know? I like Roach.
I was going to say Max Roach, but he's a drummer.
Okay. Maxwell. I actually do like the first name Maxwell. We could do that and find a different surname.
Sure.
I like Maxwell for a first name. Anything that a player can call them a short form is always very appealing to me. Okay. What if it's something like this? I'm going to go with this idea you have. So. And we're in play.
Pike is the last name.
Oh, Maxwell Pike? I'm down. Chosen. Okay, what if instead of a wild, we actually just go like this? Because I think it's going to be easier. Oh, I mean, it looks really cool. Reduces... Maxwell Pike. Oh, the skill assets control lose all skill kinds. Ability and the chosen reduces value. So this version, oh, you guys can't see this. I was like working on this card, and I was like, oh yeah, this is popping off. I think
that was alt tabbed.
Yeah, I think that this kind of does kind of a mix of what you and I were thinking, and it kind of actually turns it into just like essentially a two action weakness, but in a very in a way that feels unique to Mr. Maxwell Pike.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
I also like having every skill icon on it in like its negative mode, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Like reasonably I could see this costing 0, but I think the 1 cost is fine. And I also think we should see by the cost of that asset, you may return it to your hand. So you don't get forced to bring annoying Barfly back.
At least not that fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think that's kind of neat. Do you think the 1 cost is good, or do you think it should cost 0?
I think 1 cost is good because it eats basically your upkeep, your draw, and your resource.
Yeah. So like, and then it's also it's gonna like you can also still pass the action that you use on his ability, right? You choose foot, only get -2.
Yeah.
You can also use it on a basic investigate pretty easily. I mean, you also need to solve him the turn that you put him into play, right?
Yeah.
And it also does have a fun little synergy with his ability, right? His Elder Sign ability, where if you get the Elder Sign while he's in your hand, you can be like, yeah, I'll put this guy into play.
All right, get out here. It's Barney at Moe's. He's come in through the back door again.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, I think one of the earlier picks I sent you, that fourth one of the set of 5 should work for him.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get that. All right, I think this guy's definitely shaping up to be really neat.
How about this for flavor text?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's perfect. Do you have the artist for that one as well?
Yeah, that one is Alistair Little.
All right. Alistair Little. All right. And then flavor text. Let me tell you, Max.
Like, oh boy, here we go again.
Yeah. I like it. I like that a lot. Okay. The weakness design is very fun to come up with the signature weakness.
Oh, don't forget his traits.
Yes. Patron.
Maybe bystander as well.
Yeah.
Patron bystander is great.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Hand or in play, all their assets you control lose all skill icons. Annoying Barfly cannot leave play except by...
Just imagine when he's in your hand, he's just like there with his arm around your neck and just drunkenly rambling to you.
Yeah. And you're like, all right, okay, let's go. Okay, and I feel like his signature should also probably be an asset.
Yeah, maybe like the top shelf stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of like him as like, even though like a wild is the same, I like the mirror to the favorite annoying barfly.
Yeah, just making it clear that you can use this for any.
Yeah. Because technically a wild would be the same, but it's a little bit more interesting. English is not my first language, so I thought it was a literal fly. Oh god, no! It's back! That's funny.
Yeah, it's just slang for somebody who's always at the bar.
Yeah. Alright, so, here's my thought. The issue with, his ability is that we have to be very careful about this card, right? Like, we want it to be good, but we don't want it to be, like, too good. Or have, like, a fair cost associated with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a crazy idea.
I think I may be having the crazy idea too, but go ahead.
No, let's hear your first, because mine might be a little bit too crazy. But let's hear yours.
Well, that's why I think we're having the same idea, because I think mine's too crazy. Just add all your stats at once.
Okay, no, mine wasn't that crazy, but that is, I actually think that's a fun idea. So, like, my thought process was, while I don't like experience gaining cards, I like them on signature cards, right? Let me put this
like
in.
Bury them deep.
Yeah, like bury them deep. Let me put this in here, and you can just tell me what you think of it, okay? Because I feel like this is a fun little mini game. It's going to cost 4. Revelation. When you draw. So, like, this is what my crazy idea would kind of be like. I think it might be... so the thing I like about it is, again, I like it on signature cards. And I feel like this is a big celebration of, like, the... it has that mystic flavor, because they have, like, Delve Too Deep. And, like, also the experience boost stuff that he's probably not going to get too much use out of. But it also has, like, the mini game of, like, God Sort Them Out. And it also has, like, that rogue, let's, like, succeed by 4 effect.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the cost of 4, it means you only want to use it on something where you know you're going to succeed on it.
Yeah. And, like, I like the idea of the revelation, because, like, then, like, it becomes, like, a mini game as opposed to something else, right?
Right, you're not really choosing when it comes out.
Yeah.
It's there and you have to make the most of it.
And then when the barfly's there, it just shuts it off, so the priority is get rid of the barfly.
Yeah. That does seem like a good...
The minigame is Lucky Cigarette Case 3. Shut up, Astute! Shut up!
Man, Lucky Cigarette Case really just cooked Rogue Design, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did, yeah. because what I like about Favorite Booze as well, beyond just the victory display ability, which I think is like a fun capstone for the card, it also is like a free activation of his ability, right? Like you get an asset for free. Like I'm also not sold. Like we don't need to do the victory. I do like the victory part of it. But like I like the idea, even just if like we remove that and it's just like a free activation of his ability that like maybe it costs like 6, right? So it's like it's very hard to return back to his hand. I guess this is also.
I think 4 is a good place to start.
I guess with Revelation, you don't need to put when you draw because that is Revelation.
Yep.
That's like the text on the ability. Let me look at let God sort them out too.
I'm just going to copy this name in because it's long and has accented letters.
Sure. Oh. Hell yeah. Oh no, that's the name. I thought it was the name of the alcohol. I thought you were like doing like it's like a special like no, but that's the artist name.
Yes.
I was like putting that in for like the like that's the name of this brand of alcohol.
I have no idea what it says. It looks like whiskey.
Yeah, we should have like the name should be like a specific like brand of very expensive thing.
It'd have to be Canadian whiskey because that was mostly what they were bootlegging.
Oh yeah.
Well, the label on this has Spanish, so I don't know.
It's funny because Yorick's is very easy to trigger, but Yorick's is all I think like Yorick's has I think like it shouldn't be impossible to trigger.
Maybe also heal a horror when it leaves play, just because it's a booze.
Yeah. I'm going to edit that photo slightly. I'm going to just extend the borders.
Yeah, I've done that for cards before.
Yeah, especially for item cards, you sometimes just like
better.
have to. I like this guy also, just the potential of potentially running Delve Too Deep forever. Okay. Okay, I know you can't see this chat, but trust me, I'm just, it's boring. Okay, I need to extend the shadow. Not that much. Yeah, that looks better. Here, I'm gonna just item illicit.
Also, you may need to shift the picture again if we have a subtitle or not.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because we probably do want like top shelf liquor, right?
Yeah, top shelf liquor, and then like worth every penny or something like that.
Yeah, and then let's drop this down. Too much. Not much. A little bit more. Yeah. Can bring down a tiny bit more. 5? Nope. Give me 10.
Shout out to all those artists who are actually doing still lifes.
Yes. Okay. I guess I should put these in the back of his card. So 1 copy of top shelf liquor. And then 1 copy of annoying barfly.
I don't think you need to include 1 copy of. You can just put.
Oh, that's okay. I guess the other ones have that, so we could fix that up.
Yeah, you only need to do that if it's like multiple copies of something.
Okay. Well, let's check this guy out and see if we have any final thoughts for him before we close this out here. He doesn't give flavor text, unfortunately, because he has too much text on his card.
He's a good listener anyway.
Exactly, right? Maxwell Pike, the bartender, 4332. It makes a bit more sense when I see everything put together and like the parlay. It makes a bit more sense. He's very strange, but he still feels very rogue. He's a 7/7 soak, criminal and entrepreneur. Is a lightning bolt during a skill test. Discard an asset you control. Add your base skill value of one of the skill icons on that asset to this test. If you succeed, by the cost of that asset, you may return it to your hand limit once per round. Does this need to be a test you're performing?
Depends if you want to be support or not. Because it's still only limit once per round for somebody.
Yeah, I guess that is the thing, right? So we then have to just change that if this test is successful. Can we make the picture a bit lighter? Yeah, that's on our list of things to do. But right now, no. Right now, no. Long term, yes. So during a skill test, discard an asset you control. Add your base skill value of one of the skill icons on that asset to this test. If this test is successful by the cost of that asset, you may return it to your hand limit once per round. Eldritch Sign effect is +1. You may play an asset paying its cost. If you do, draw a card. What specialist cards can he take? That's a great question, and I haven't thought about that.
Let's go to Derby K's blog. I'll just take a quick look. Well, actually, Arkham Build has it right.
Yeah, just grabbing that here. Scans. And give me neutrals, please. Okay. So notably, he can take... Nose to the Grindstone, which is actually kind of cool.
For tools, yeah.
Yeah. I know you could take Name Your Price, and then you can also take you can also take the gambling card too, the Double Down for Entrepreneur. So you can take those
and
cards.
Criminal, yeah.
Yeah. Can he have a trait that indicates a good listener? I don't know. I think it's already pretty loaded. Unfortunately, Entrepreneur is not exactly a short trait for that one. So for his backside, he has 30 cards. Secondary class choice at deck creation, choose Guardian or Mystic. He gets deck building Rogue 0/5, Neutral 0/5, and level 0 cards of your chosen secondary class. And then he gets Top Shelf Liquor, Annoying Barfly for his signatures. Top Shelf Liquor is worth every penny. It's a 4-cost asset. Revelation, put Top Shelf Liquor into play in your play area. It's forced. When Top Shelf Liquor would return to your hand via Maxwell Pike's Lightning Bolt ability, add it to the victory display instead.
This is a Maxwell Pike deck only.
Oh, yes. Sweet. Oh, stupid stupid. Yeah. I think our card just died. Ugh.
I think you can shift it up. Yeah. You can shift it up if you put like a vertical spacer under the victory.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, the stupid line of text. It should just be assumed. It should. I think that's such a. I bet they probably rue it too at FFG. They're just like, no.
Yeah. Well, it still doesn't have a tremendous amount of text. It's easy to read.
Yes, it's like the text is tiny, but that's mostly just because of the victory, right? Like if this victory wasn't here.
Why couldn't victory 1 be in the bottom corner like it is for locations?
Yep.
Oh well.
Yep.
I still think it's fine leaving it as is.
I think it is too. It's just like it's the unfortunate thing just due to the nature of the cat. Victory text 1 right aligned? It's not for these. I mean, I guess I could. Can I do that with this? I could. Look at that. There we go. Pinkhawk, you're a genius.
Smart thinking.
Yeah. Hi, Jesse. It's cute. How's it going? I think that is pretty legit. I think that's a fun card. And I think the signature weakness is a good like mirror of it, right? A 1-cost asset. While it's in your hand or in play, all other assets you control lose all skill icons. Annoying Butterfly cannot leave play except by Maxwell Pike's lightning ability, and the chosen skill reduces your skill value instead of adding to it.
Good stuff.
Yeah, he's definitely the one that I started the least confident in, but it's another investigator that I would love to play, you know? So I think we can call that a win.
I certainly do.
Yeah. So we have 2 investigators left, the Guardian and the Seeker. Save the most basic for last. You love to see it.
Or are they?
Are you trying some on a campaign? We are going to be definitely... I'm going to be definitely doing some play testing with them. Because we have to like actually see if they're playable. See if they're like busted or broken. But I played a lot of Arkham. They don't seem like... I mean, I think like Top Shelf Liquor is going to be easier to trigger. I can see this maybe going up to like 5 cost. Just because of the...
Because you probably want to be doing it on... Like, it's going to be like a +3 on most situations.
Well, that... I mean, I think it actually might even be a +4 because you just choose your brain, right? So, like... True. Maybe it needs to be more because of that, but we'll see. That's something that you have to find out when you actually put into practice. But I love Annoying Barfly. I think like the flavor of it's really good, and like the art's really nice, and I think like it's just a very I feel very satisfied when I look at it. So
yeah,
sweet.
We've had some very interesting weaknesses in this set.
Yeah, no, I like the weakness design quite a bit, and like even like the signature design, like going back to Delphine's Snake, like we started with like a very cool concept, and it's carrying over through all of them, which is really nice. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. Beard and I will be back for the next one in the near future on YouTube, or I mean also in stream. We don't know when the next one will be, but be rest assured there will be 2 more. So we'll see you all for those. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one, and as always, a GG's.